how to cope with the times that we are currently living in right now. As I always mention in my videos, there's a lot of uncertainty and chaos going on around in the world right now. We have, these wars going on. We have the ICE protests going on. There's just so many things that are weighing on our conscience every single day that we get up. We hop on social media and we see these things and we don't know. A lot of us don't know how to cope with it. We try to ignore it. We try to push it to the side, but in the end, it's getting to a lot of us, whether we want to believe it or not. If we're not consciously thinking about it, we are subconsciously thinking about these things. And hopefully by the end of this video, I can give you guys some tools to deal with these things and face them head on. First and foremost, I don't know if any of you watching this are religious at all. Me, I grew up in a Christian household, but I cling more towards spirituality. So what I typically like to do, I like to meditate, to not escape, but just to kind of keep me grounded and clear my mind. Meditation is basically finding a place kind of just like this. It doesn't have to be outside, but you can be inside, outside of your house, and you can sit on the ground, fold your feet, cross them. I'm crossing them right now. And it's simply just closing your eyes and kind of just being one with yourself, one with the universe, your body. And I close my eyes and try to clear my thoughts. Anything that's negative that may be running through my mind throughout the day, I will get into the pose that I'm in right now currently, minus being on video, and I will focus on my breathing. It's all about being present exactly where you are in the moment. And this is something that I like to practice on a daily. I try to meditate at least 2 times a day, before I go to work and before I go to bed. And it really helps a lot. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you focused. It keeps you in the present moment. I really feel like this has helped me a lot on my journey, just to get closer to God, to be one with the earth, one with nature. I feel like this is very beneficial for you. So I would definitely try to meditate. That will definitely clear your mind. And I know some people really can't sit and focus, but the more that you repeat the pattern of meditating, the easier it becomes, the more relaxing it becomes. And like I said, it's helped me a lot throughout my spiritual journey. So if you're watching this right now, that is one thing that you could do. You need to meditate. Start to cultivate a relationship with God. That also ties into what I'm also trying to say too. You got to believe in something. I feel sorry for anybody who doesn't believe in anything. I feel like that's just a miserable way to live. There's a reason why the sun is just far enough to where it doesn't burn us to a crisp, or the fact that our moon, it controls our ocean tides. There's a reason why, it's just far enough, or just at the angle that it is, where it doesn't make our oceans chaotic. You have to believe in something. There's definitely a higher power. When you look at the way that our earth is structured, the way the universe is structured, somebody definitely created it. So that's just my opinion. I don't judge anybody who doesn't believe in anything, but I just feel, for me personally, I just feel sorry for you if you don't believe in something. But try to cultivate a relationship with the Most High. I wouldn't be standing in front of you guys right now if God did not help me throughout my journey, throughout losing my parents and my brother in a car accident, throughout the hard breakup that I went through a couple years ago. Like it truly I wouldn't have been able to make it without God. I would not have been able to make it. And like, I owe it to him, and I'm just so grateful that he's gotten me to this point to where I'm even creating these videos for you guys. He's changed my life tremendously, and I'm just forever grateful to God that I'm able to just have a roof over my head, have a car to take me from A to B, have loving friends and family. You know, I'm just grateful for it all, you know. So, you know, I pray every day. And, you know, I don't go to church all the time, but I try to go to church when I can, you know. But having a relationship with God has definitely steered my life in the right direction and kept me on the path that I'm on right now. So try to cultivate a relationship with God. That is also how you can mentally deal with the times that we're living in. Another way that you can mentally cope with the times we're living in right now is to stay off social media. And this is a huge one. This is something that I actually struggle with, partly because, well, one, I, you know, make music. I'm a content creator, so you know, it's difficult for me to stay away from it when I'm literally making content all the time. But, you know, when I'm not creating content, you know, it can be difficult to, man, just to get off the phone. You know, it's hard. Like, you know, a lot of us we're addicted to these things. Like, I remember I literally tested myself to see, like, all right, how addicted I am to my phone. So literally, I remember I was like, I'm gonna set my phone down for like an hour. And it's so funny, when I was like cleaning up my house and walking around, you'd be surprised how many times I literally reached in my pocket to see if my phone was there, and it wasn't there at all. And I was like, man, I caught myself doing it like at least 8 times. And I'm like, man, I am addicted to my phone. So this is something that I struggle with, and I'm real with you guys when I make these videos too, so you don't feel like I'm not this perfect person. You know, I don't want to have an image to where like I don't have struggles, or I don't do things that I shouldn't do. You know, like, I'm still human at the end of the day. So yeah, I want to make that clear. But try to stay off social media as much as you can. I mean, I know you're gonna get on it anyway regardless, but just try to limit your use, because it is very taxing on the brain, your psyche. You know, your soul is downloading all this constant information, and a lot of it's negative. You know, a lot of it's full with like sex. A lot of it's filled with drama. A lot of it's filled with a lot of the stuff that's going on. And while it's important to, you know, stay updated with current times and what's going on in the world, I'm not saying that you know, don't see what's going on around your community, around the world, what's going on, but don't do it to the point where it's causing you anxiety and fear, and you know, you just feel drained. Your soul feels drained. You feel like it's getting to you to the point where you feel like you can't function. When you feel like you're getting to that point too, just stop. You know, it's good to take breaks and cleanse yourself from social media. It's good for the soul, you know. You get out to places like these, you get out in nature, and you know, you get in touch with the earth. It's peaceful, man. Like, just being out in silence like this. Like, I know a lot of people don't like to sit with themselves, but man, it is literally one of the most peaceful activities, to just go outside, like, be by yourself and not have to worry and think about every little thing that's going on in your world or externally, you know. So that's one of the things that you can do to cope with the times is to get off of social media. Another thing that you can do to help cope with these times is focus on your purpose. You know, we don't know how much time that we have on this planet. You don't know how much time you have. You know, you could die tomorrow. You know, why not make the most of the life that you've been given by God and just do something productive? Now, your purpose might not be something like mine, but you know, whatever that purpose is for you, go and pursue that thing. Why not? You know, your purpose, what you're doing, might help somebody in your community, or it might help in your community. Sorry, it might help somebody in your community. It might help somebody across the world that needs to hear your message, or you know, if you're a nurse, or it could be anything. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, you know, just focus on your purpose. Focus on why you personally feel like you were put here on this planet. You know, I think that's very important. I feel like when you wake up every day and you feel like you have a reason why you're waking up, and you feel like you have a reason of living and what you want to do, I feel like things become more clear. It becomes easier. You're not just sitting there thinking, oh man, like what should I do? What should I do? You know, if you have a plan, if you have a goal that you're going after, it makes life easier, you know? So focus on your purpose. That is definitely one of the things that you should do. And shoot, it took me a long time to figure out what my purpose was. Like, I have a lot of gifts that God has given me, and I'm like, man, like how do I water all of these gifts that I have, you know? And what do I muster up the energy to want to do these things that God has given me to do? One of those things is doing this, making these videos for you guys. You know, this is part of my purpose, and I find joy in making these videos. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, you know, I'm still trying to figure it out as far as these videos go. But, you know, I do the best that I can, and I feel called to do it. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are confused out there, and there's a lot of people who need to hear this message, who need this vulnerability. So that's what I try to bring to you guys. So focus on your purpose. Your purpose, baby. Your purpose, baby. Oh. Another thing you can do to cope with these times is to get a therapist too. You know, therapy is good for you. I will be real. I don't personally have a therapist, and I'm actively working on that. Yeah, I feel like I've been my own therapist, and God has been my therapist, and the earth has been my therapist. So that's why, like, I haven't actually gotten somebody yet, but I do feel like I need to invest more in my mental health. I feel like that's very important. I feel like every human being should have a therapist, because it's hard to deal with this stuff on your own, you know? It's like me, like I'm on my own out here, you know? It's me, myself, and I. And I've learned to love myself so much. Shoot, I even go do activities by myself, whether it be the movies, go on hikes, like anything, video games. You know, like I'm not afraid to be alone and do things on my own. But at the same time, I do feel like every human being needs to have some form of safety with our mental. And I feel like a therapist will be beneficial for not only myself, but all of you as well. Another thing that I feel like you guys can do is exercise. I feel like getting in the gym and working out is literally so therapeutic. I've gotten back into the gym. I like to run my 8 miles. For those who watch my IG, you always see me post me running my 8 miles all the time. You know, that's something that I take joy in. And, you know, I was very overweight a couple years ago, and it took me a while to even look like this, how you see me now. Like, I was super chunky back then. So the gym definitely is a big stress reliever. It's good for your mind, it's good for your body, good for your soul. Gotta stay active. You gotta stay active. I'm sure there'll be more videos like this in the future, but for now, this is all I got for you. I hope you learned something. I hope you are at peace with yourself. I hope that everything's okay in your life. Just know that whatever trials and tribulations that you may be facing right now, just know that it is only temporary. All right, you got to keep fighting, keep moving forward. It's going to be okay. There's always a solution to our problems. And just please, whatever you do, if you took something that's in there, please don't give up on yourself. Please, whatever goals and dreams you have, whatever you're battling mentally, it's not too much for God. And He can help you handle those situations and guide you down the right path. All right. It's going to be okay. I promise you it's going to be okay. Anybody dealing with anything right now. If you ever need somebody to talk to or vent to or anything, you can always leave a comment on my video, or you can always DM me on my Instagram at JFTheForce. You know, I can try to help out any way that I can, and, you know, just be there for you, be a voice. But I appreciate you if you made it this far in this video. Yeah, I love you guys, man. Just thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate your time. You literally could be doing anything you want with your time, but you chose to be here and watch my video. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I don't care if one person sees this. I appreciate you. So until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.